Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. 2 days ago, two NEO managers decided to test Firefly and drive it through 7 European countries, starting from Berlin, Germany, and will travel through 7 countries: Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, France, Spain, Italy, and Austria. So does that mean that these are some of the countries Firefly will be going into? Of course it is. But I even called Zahir, our Facebook group manager, and I was a little frustrated about this. Why would you drive the car through all these countries before? Why don't you just sell it like Xpeng and the rest of them? Well, I did some research, and to my great surprise, I was excited even more than ever. Now, you guys know that NEO is the company I'm most excited about on the stock market. For all the years I've been on the stock market, I believe that this is the company will make me the most money. Excuse me, guys. But Firefly is accelerating its global expansion, as we all know, and plans to enter the European market this year. NEO is already in the European markets, but Firefly is the sub-brand of NEO and has launched a public road test in Europe to accelerate the introduction of its small electric vehicle there. Of course, it would also help bring about a lot of awareness. But it says Firefly long-term testing in Europe began on June 9th, 2 days ago, with 2 product managers driving from Berlin, like I said, all the way through to Austria. The NEO sub-brand announced this 2 days ago on the app. The test will last 15 days and cover over 5,500 kilometers according to the announcement. So it says, we all know Firefly is accelerating its global expansion and will enter the European market within this year. And the vehicle is a premium boutique compact car with its most direct competitors, including the BMW Mini. And on April the 22nd, ahead of the 2025 Shanghai Auto Show, NEO co-founder and President Qin Hong said during a media roundtable in response to a question from CNEV Post that Firefly would choose an appropriate time between June and August to launch in Europe. So perhaps they are still waiting to see what happens with the tariff, because the last thing we heard is they're very close to a deal with the Europeans. And it also says by the end of this year, Firefly would enter around 20 overseas markets, 20. With the right-hand drive version set to be ready by October at the latest, Keen said at the time. So the right-hand drive version of Firefly will first be available in markets including the United Kingdom, England, here they come, and Southeast Asia, according to Keen. We also believe they're going to be going into Australia and, of course, other right-hand drive markets. We know that they were supposed to enter Europe first, but because of the tariff, they decided to be released in China, and then later on they'll go into Europe. But I did a little bit of digging, and this is what I came up with as well. It says the road test covers 5,500 kilometers, like I was saying. And unlike lab tests, this provides insight into battery efficiency, how good the battery is going to hold up, handling and charging infrastructure compatibility, how many charging stations are compatible to Firefly when it gets there. I think they already know this, but it's a nice little PR campaign to bring awareness that you can drive through Europe with a Firefly. Yes, there'll be enough charging stations for you. Number 2, market readiness and localization. Finally, we initially designed for Europe but launched first in China, like I said. The road test helps refine features like software, suspension, tuning, and user interface for European preferences, sportier handling compared to China's comfort focus. So in China, what they're saying is the majority of people want the comfort type suspension, But in Europe, for a car like this, they want more of a sportier suspension and better handling because they love speeding, especially in the Autobahn. It also accesses compatibility with local regulations and charging networks, including NIO's battery swap station through Firefly compatible station are still under development. Brand and community building. The test is publicized via NIO's app, engaging potential customers and showcasing Firefly reliability. The Trio Lights design and cohesive UX gesture control infotainment aim to create a distinct identity against rivals like the Mini and the Fiat. NIO emphasizes its users' enterprise ethos, where feedback from such tests directly influences final adjustments. And it says strategic expansion timing. Firefly Europe launch was delayed due to the tariffs. And like I said, they're still waiting to see what happens. So I'm sure by the time we enter Europe, I shouldn't say I'm sure, they're hoping that the tariffs deal come through where a minimum price is placed, and then we'll flood Europe with the Firefly. The test highlights Firefly rear-wheel drive agility whilst driving through Europe, 4.7 meter turning radius, the best in its class, and premium features Dolby Atmos cooled seats. Yes, this is why it's a premium little luxury EV, boutique EV, unlike the BMW Mini. It says to differentiate it from budget EVs. It's not a budget EV. Pricing strategy is also validated. While the Firefly starts at 29,900 euros in Europe, the test may help justify its premium positioning. In summary, the road test is a final stress test before Firefly European debut, addressing technical, cultural, and logistical hurdles whilst generating buzz. NIO's multi-brand strategy with Firefly targeting urban users and NIO focusing on premium SUVs and premium sedans relies on such meticulous preparation. Yes, NIO always goes through meticulous preparations in every EV that we put out on the road. That's why you don't hear of a lot of recalls. You don't hear of when our cars get into a crash, there are fatalities. I'm not calling any names. Xiaomi, BYD, Tesla, excuse me guys, allergies. But this is why the competition, their logo is, when you crash, you die. If you have a desire to die, buy their EVs. If you have a desire to live, buy a NIO EV. So I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, right here, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the game is played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.